Hey everyone, this is Electra, and I talk about whatever the hell I want, and here we go. So, time for another sunset chat. Um, I don't. All I can say is I'm glad I'm moving to Illinois soon, based on what I saw today at the JB Pritzker press conference from downtown Chicago. I was just there 3 days ago, and this is definitely getting to me more. I don't even live there yet, and I feel like this is starting to feel like a lot more personal, being with on account of Chicago being next on the hit list, so to speak. And I also don't think it's a coincidence that Chicago is going to be my future home in the very near future. And if not in Chicago proper, it's going to be in the very near suburbs, near probably like around O'Hare Airport, or maybe a little bit further out, like Schaumburg or Naperville or Evanston, but probably more like the first two, because Evanston is pretty far east. It's close to the lake, which would be great, but it wouldn't be convenient at all for getting to the airport every day for work. And yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know. I don't want to get too much into the politics, other than I'm proud that I'm already proud of Illinois. I don't even live there and yet, but I will soon. And this definitely makes me want to move there even more than I already do. I just cannot wait to live in a state where my perspective and worldview is actually pretty much the political mainstream, and I'm not going to feel like I'm just consigned to the lunatic fringe, which is how I've always felt living in more red states. Definitely felt that way living in Texas, even in the city of Dallas and the outskirts of, like, the suburbs around it. I've always felt, and then, I mean, a few years in California, I felt more or less okay. I think my political views at the time were pretty much in line with everyone else. And then I lived in Florida so long ago that I can't really say. I didn't feel like a total outcast at the time, but I'm definitely feeling like an outcast here in Missouri these days, even though I live in a very blue city, the most blue part of the state, as a matter of fact, and it doesn't seem to go very far. It doesn't, it's not, it's just, it's like, what's the point? It's just the whole state is just totally effed politically, and I see no way it's going to change. At least, I mean, Illinois is probably effed from the opposite perspective, but it's effed in the way I want it to be effed. So that's good news. Uh, we all just have to find our effed paradise now these days, don't we? And as far as politics and getting, or in the future, let's talk about the future. I don't even know. I don't even really know what I want to say tonight. I'm already dragging. I want to do this every night. Um, I actually bought some boxes for my move to Chicago, so it's feeling real. I went to U-Haul, bought a 25 pack bundle deal of small boxes for my about 100, 120 books or so in my collection, and also board games. My board game selection is a lot smaller now than it was last summer 2024 when I moved in this place. I had over 100 games at that time. Now I think I'm down to, I'm going to say like 80. So it's definitely smaller. But yeah, I think on my last move, I needed something along the lines of like 30 small boxes between all my books and board games. And that's really like the bulk of my belongings. Once those are packed, it's really just a matter of the kitchen, of course, as far as like plates and silverware. And I think a lot of my cookingware I won't even take with me because they were my grandparents. Like these pots and pans have to be at least like 25 years old. I can't imagine they bought these in the 2000s, like maybe the early 2000s at the absolute latest. And they're showing their age. They still work, but I'm wondering how safe it even is to use some of these nonstick pans at this point. And And plus, they're just like heavy and big. It's hard to. I mean, I remember packing them up last time, and I had to get like a bigger box, and then packing up the glasses sucked. It was just you have to like just pack them in with like newspaper and maybe like bubble wrap and just hope they don't break en route. But so yeah, it's feeling real. This is like the first move I've ever done where I feel like I can truly go at my own pace, which is it's almost like too easy. It's almost like I'm doing this probably not with enough urgency, but I'm going to try to I'm going to do some actual packing tomorrow when earlier in the day when I feel like I'm bursting with energy and caffeinated. Um, I also don't feel like I've been sleeping that great lately, but better than I'm also still, I think, slightly tired from my Chicago trip, up north trip. And yeah, I don't know. What's it going to take for people to realize how, well, maybe let's rephrase the question. What is our why? That's what I was thinking. I started watching Simon Sinek or Sinek. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. And he actually has some interesting videos that I was watching this morning, and he talked about finding your why. And well, any political movement needs to have a why also. Any person, individual, organization, political party needs a why. Why would someone join this new coalition to defeat fascism? Being anti-fascist is not enough. Being against fascism is not enough. Nobody, I would say 80% of the American public couldn't even tell you what the word fascism means. Any word that ends in ISM is like automatically out of 80% of Americans' vocabulary. So if they think they know what fascism and communism are, I guarantee you it's not what they say it's going to be. They have a very misinformed opinion of what either of those things are. So why would someone become, I don't even want to use the word anti-fascist, because like I use that in one of my titles, and of course, like the second the word anti-fascist is in my title, the lunatics come out of the woodwork and bombard. There was one guy, I just removed the comment because I'm not going to be a sounding board for fascism. That's bottom line. Take that stuff somewhere else, like X/Twitter. I would like to get actual comments. Like I see other videos getting like hundreds of comments, and it's all people that like are being nice and like acknowledging their video is good and acknowledging like, hey, yeah, you're right. Or, I don't know. I would like some sort of feedback, some kind of constructive feedback and praise. That would be nice, but I want it to be organic too. Like, don't do it just because I said that, please. Like, wait for when you feel it's time, it's time. Just don't forget. Had a voice lesson today, voice lesson number 5 or 6. I'm doing 2 a week at this point, and I feel like it's definitely coming along. Definitely, it's feeling more natural. I've got to do it more often, and just stick with it, and not just fall back on my guy voice that I've had for 44 years. And I feel like I have made progress because I looked at a video of myself from must have been like early or mid 2023, which isn't even all that long ago, and my voice was just so much like lower and deeper, and it almost didn't even sound like me. So perhaps I guess it's just kind of changed anyway, even though I just recently started voice lessons. So maybe hormones has had something to do with that, even though it's not really, they tell you it doesn't, but in my case, maybe it did, because my voice was also really like hoarse and dry for a while. So maybe that was a sign that my normal vocal range wasn't working as well. Sorry, bumped the microphone there. Let me know how that sounds, by the way. I hope it's an improvement. I want my videos to be loud and clear and easy to hear, especially on a drive. A road trip it's critical to have a loud microphone. I've discovered this on my road trips. I drive a car that's so old I don't even have Bluetooth in it. Probably one of the last years that didn't necessarily have Bluetooth standard, 2012. And when I'm driving on my trips, I just I'll turn on a YouTube video, I'll pump the volume all the way up to max on my phone, and I just listen to it through the phone speaker, which is pretty good as long as the volume in the video is loud and clear. If someone's not using a good microphone or any microphone at all, it's just not going to be loud enough for me to hear it when I'm driving on a highway at 75, 80 miles an hour. And like a Honda Civic is not the quietest car. You definitely hear the wind noise and the road noise and so forth. So yeah, let me know how the sound is if you like. I would love to hear an opinion from someone other than me, because to be honest, I have not even watched one of my videos yet on my television, my Sony OLED that I got in 2019. That's hooked. I have it hooked up to a speaker stereo set, so I should do that just to see how it sounds on there. I don't mind watching my videos on my phone, but something about my TV, maybe it's because it's just so big, it makes me feel a little self-conscious. But yeah, so I'm learning how to make my voice just brighter. And what is it when I start speaking up front, it's like it's much more feminine as far as the brightness and the was it resonance, or I can't remember, but basically I need to speak like way out in front of my mouth instead of like a guy that talks way back here. I got to talk more like this and get the pitch right, the resonance, and the softness. The softness for me is the hardest so far, because I just naturally want to speak like in an authoritative sounding voice especially when I'm here on YouTube and I have an opinion about something. And I asked him this today, Jimmy. I'm like, Jimmy, yeah, I mean, when I'm on YouTube doing a video, I just like can't help but like get forceful. And when I do that, I just naturally want to drop my voice because that's what I've been doing for 44 years, 45 years now. But yeah, so I'm just like, it's like women can do that. Women could be forceful. It's just they just have to do it I'm trying to figure out how to do it in a way that's forceful. Because like a man would just go like this, you need to do that. Women can't do that. Women have to be like, you gotta do it like that. That. I don't know. See, can't quite get it there yet, but getting closer and I can feel that it feels a lot more natural now. I don't feel like I'm straining my vocal cords. My vocal cords seem fine, perfect, in fact, better than usual. I feel like I'm exercising my voice, which even if I wasn't trans, like this, I recommend this for anyone. Like, it's amazing how you think you know how to talk, right? But I've learned so much already about like opening my mouth more and my tongue, and like just some of this is just to sound more feminine too. Like if I open my mouth more and then like, speak, feel like I'm speaking more from my teeth than from way back here, then it's going to sound just more feminine, more enunciated, more bright. And that's what we're trying to go for. And yeah, getting there for sure. I'm looking forward to the day when I do this by default and I don't really have to like think about it, especially if I'm out in public. And I feel like if I'm being like distracted or something like that, then, and yeah, as you might expect, it's harder to pull off if I'm distracted and I'm just like not focusing 100% on my vocal activities. So why would people become I don't even know what we would call this party. Like I have ideas, but none of them seem to be great. Like I said, I don't want to use anti-fascist because the word Antifa was totally co-opted and ruined by the fascists back in 2020. And you can't even say anti-fascist now without the absolute, um, we all know who, coming out of the woodwork. And yeah. What's going to make those kids in Milwaukee want to join a group that, or a party that they can go out and vote for proudly next year in 2026 in their local, in their Wisconsin congressional elections, both state and federal? And what's going to make them feel proud to be what kind of like ideology is going to get them to vote in 2026 and 2028? I think if we can figure that out, like what these 20 what these 18, 20-year-old Wisconsin kids are gonna feel passionate about, what do they want? And like, why are the Democrats not doing this, right? Like, why?